Hi everyone, my name is Gino Ruiz. I'm a proud graduate of Southridge. I'm also now a Southridge parent myself to two boys. I graduated fourth year high school in 1998. My eldest entered what is now grade 1 of the K-12 system in 2016. My feeling coming back to Southridge was a lot of things changed, but then not much changed. In the 90s, when my relatives asked where I studied and I answered Southridge, the follow-up question was always, "Saan yun?" Now Southridge is well known and established. The facilities were definitely upgraded. When I saw that the classrooms were already air-conditioned, I felt life was unfair. That was unthinkable in the 90s. Then the soccer field got turf and night lights, so no more mud in the rain and dust bowls in the summer. And then there's the part that hasn't changed. I saw a lot of familiar faces, old teachers. My grade 6 science teacher actually messaged me last week to ask if I can record his video. He's still there. He rose through the ranks. He became principal for a number of years. Many other familiar faces, teachers, staff, likewise, are still there. I've known these people since I was a kid, so it felt like coming back to people you already know and trust. Having seen the Southridge experience myself, both as a student once upon a time and now as a parent, I'm happy to share with you why this was an easy decision for me to choose a school for my boys. My number one is values. Southridge is very strong in values formation. There is a definite investment in terms of time, staffing, and systems to operationalize values formation in students. You'll see that in the mentoring program, the many activities like student assemblies, student seminars, bias practices, and many others. Even the programs for parents. We're not exempted because I guess we're part of what you might call the value chain. Things like EduChild courses and talks during parent quarterly forums. Values formation here is consistent. It's not a one-time school event. It includes the home. It's not a one and done. It's a constant in the Southridge way of life. I call that out as number one because aside from being the good and right thing, it's also, I think, the hallmark of enduring success. I work in P&G, where we are very proud of our PVPs, our purpose, values, and principles. One of our past CEOs summarized it as simply trying to do the right thing. So people respect values, and values inspire people. I think P&G's 180 years in business is a testament to the power of values as a foundation for enduring success. Also, as a parent now, values formation takes on an extra special importance for me. As parents, of course, we all worry about our kids getting in trouble. And as they get older, we will get more worried about worse kinds of troubles that they might get into, especially from what you see in the news. I've come to the realization that the only way to protect my kids from all the bad stuff out there is exactly this: consistent, constant values formation. You cannot watch them constantly and you cannot protect them from everything, but you can help them develop a very strong and reliable moral compass to train a well-formed conscience so that when the time comes, they can do the right thing and make good decisions. And God forbid, even if they make a few bad choices, the same moral compass can help them find their way back. I frankly cannot think of a better partner in values formation than Southridge. Having my kids here gives me more peace of mind. And the other half of that equation is the other Southridge families here, folks like you guys. We parents, of course, we did our research in choosing schools, and we gravitate to schools closely aligned with our values. What that means is you'll find here in the Southridge community other families like yours who also think values are important. The thought that my kids are growing up with the kids of like-minded families adds to my peace of mind. I don't think you can eliminate parental worry over our kids. That's part of our job description, but this really helps me a lot. My number two reason needs a short story. In second or third year high school, I had a history teacher. His name was Mr. Kalimag. He barely taught me history, but I learned more from him than any other teacher I had, I think. He was fond of asking open-ended questions, so our history class really felt more like literature class. One day we were starting a topic related to African conflicts, and he asked the class to look at the world map, look at Africa. What do you notice? After all the smart-sounding wrong answers from everybody, self-included, he points out the obvious. Straight lines. Lots of straight lines. That means those are not natural or evolved borders. They were drawn by someone, arbitrarily by colonizers. And the resulting historical grievances and conflicts from tribes and lands, forcibly split or combined, we're still living with that today. He didn't teach us events and dates and names. He taught us to ask why things happened. Southridge is good at that. I had a lot of subjects that trained you to think, to reason, to understand. The details, the technical knowledge, names, dates, terms, you're going to forget most of it. But the mindset to understand, to reason, that has come in handy for me beyond Southridge. For university, I went to LaSalle Taft, taking up industrial engineering. Even in a technical field like that, understanding the reason can help with remembering and applying technical mathematical formula, for example. And in the course of my work in P&G IT, so my job has required me to visit P&G factories and warehouses in several countries these past 18 years, where I implement computer systems for manufacturing, warehousing, quality. I tap on that mindset to figure out the right questions to ask, to understand the business context, the likely risks and challenges, and problem solve on that basis to get the job done. It's a life skill. I'm thankful to have been drilled in it a lot during my time here. COVID, in my opinion, is when all the advantages of Southridge really came together. This was tough for all schools. Nobody had a playbook for a pandemic. This is a once-in-a-century event. Eventually, all schools figured out some way to do online schooling, as you'd expect, because there's no choice. Very quickly, Southridge put together a playbook leveraging Google Classroom as a platform, training teachers not just on technology, but more importantly, on effective online methods, and doing trial classes to get early learnings. I like most of all that Southridge tapped on values to really make this work. An emphasis on homeschool collaboration, highlighting the importance of adaptability and optimism, honesty and responsibility, soliciting early feedback, and making quick adjustments. My kids are thankfully thriving in the setup. In fact, I feel they've matured faster than they would have in normal times. They're able to be mostly independent of their schoolwork with only a few reminders. They're responsible to stay on top of their deliverables. That goes for my grade 4, but surprisingly, even for my grade 1. My grade 1 boy can now operate the scanner and printer independently for his schoolwork. Until recently, my wife couldn't even do that. They're liking this online setup maybe a little too much because now they're telling me they like online school better. But that's another problem for me to deal with later on. Of course, it takes some collaboration to make that work. It's the big and little things. Like on our side, we had to institute routines. I use an old iPhone as a school bell to signal the start of class and start of modules time. We had to relay out the house to be conducive to school from home. We use desktops with large screens, so it's more engaging. We've set up these semi-private workstations in our living room so that we can supervise while still giving some private space. And then we have Google Classroom on our phones, so we can check on if they have anything that they've left open that we need to follow up on. So we made these small adjustments, but overall, I'm a very happy customer of the COVID adaptations that Southridge has put up. 4 years ago, when my eldest was about to start grade 1, I couldn't help but feel a bit emotional and excited for him. I had a lot of good times and memories here. He didn't know it yet, but his adventures were just about to begin. And I was excited about everything that was in store for him. That's all I had to share. I hope my experiences are somehow helpful for you. Enjoy the rest of your day.